Welcome to the Vida Spiritual Connection from Vida Spiritual Learning Center, where you are empowered to create the life you desire. Our guiding belief is, by valuing and empowering all, we inspire a joyous and fulfilling life. At Vida, we study and practice the teachings of the science of mind and spirit founded by Dr. Ernest Holmes. Now, here's today's message.
Hello, beloveds, and welcome to another edition of Vida Spiritual Connection. My name is Sunshine Daye, and what a joy it is to greet you today. In the year 2023, we've been looking at renewing minds and opening hearts. And for the month of July, we're looking at liberation and what liberation is. Today, in particular, we're going to be talking about spiritual liberation. And what I want to address today is breaking free from bondage and really embracing life. And why this is so important is because so many people are living in bondage, and not the bondage that is inflicted by other people, but I want to say bondage that is self-inflicted. So let's check it out and see if what I am speaking of rings true to you. So what is spiritual liberation? So for me, spiritual liberation is the experience of profound freedom, of growth, of connection with something greater than oneself. Now, this connection with something greater than myself or greater than oneself does not preclude it from being this indwelling power and presence that is greater than my sum total. I want you to know and recognize right from the very start that I'm not talking about a power or a presence that is outside of you, but having a connection with the power that resides in, through, and as you. Spiritual liberation for me is also this, I want to say it's kind of like waking up from a long, troubled, bad dream and realizing and awakening to this fact that infinite possibility lies before me. And, in daily terms, this idea of breaking free from these self-imposed limitations and actually embracing life's purpose and embracing life with purpose, with joy and authenticity. So I want to start off by just kind of sharing a couple of ideas of people. Imagine, if you will, for a moment that you have a friend named Harold, and meet Harold. Harold is a fictional character, but it might, the characteristics of Harold might be somebody in your life, and it might even be you. I don't know. But just imagine Harold for a minute. He represents spiritual bondage. And by that, I mean that Harold lives a life of fear, a life of dissatisfaction, a life of doubt. He feels stuck, disconnected from his true self, disconnected from the world around him. And Harold's life is marked by, I want to say, constant struggle. If it ain't one thing, it's another, these limited beliefs and this feeling of a lack of fulfillment. I don't know. I pray that Harold is not who you are, but if it is who you are, stick around, because there's some steps and there's some hope. And if Harold represents somebody in your life, this might be the person representing spiritual bondage and a lack of freedom. Where on the other hand, imagine Gladys, another fictional friend, or maybe it could be you, or it could be someone in your life. She represents spiritual liberation. She embodies freedom. She's got inner peace. She's in alignment with her higher self. She embraces life with passion, with love, with this sense of adventure and purpose. And she radiates joy wherever she is. She embraces creativity, and she's got a deep connection with the divine. Which one of these two people do you want to hang out with the most, Harold or Gladys? And which one do you want to be more like? Now, let me just share just a little bit on the detrimental effects of living in bondage. Not only is there this lack of freedom, but there's this lack of fulfillment, feeling trapped, being in a cycle of dissatisfaction, things that prevent you from living your full and true life, right? And not only that, but when you're there, there's also this lack of perspective. Everything seems like tunnel vision or limited vision, like there's, blinders on the side, and the ability to even see limitless possibilities are hindering, your growth and unfoldment. Besides that, there's also like this emotional turmoil. Bondage always and most often leads to a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, negative emotions, and all of those things block our path to inner peace. There's always something happening. The brain, the mind is always trying to figure stuff out instead of really having this experience of inner peace. And as a result of that, there's always this sense of disconnection. Who am I really connected to? Who are the people in my life? How do I connect with the world? How do I connect with others? Do I have friends? Who identifies with me? Where am I? What's happening? That sense of disconnection is so detrimental to our daily living, and it causes stagnation. It prevents us from evolving, from realizing our full potential, and it just leads to a life of no growth and no progress. And so if you find yourself feeling any one of these things or many of these things, the good news is, beloveds, is that there is absolutely a way out. There's a way out of that spiritual bondage. There's a way out of that self-inflicted, self-imposed bondage. And it begins right where you are. So, the steps towards spiritual liberation, if you're experiencing one or more of these things, is this idea of self-awareness, right? We get to wake up to the point that, I'm feeling stuck, or I'm feeling limited, and begin to recognize these areas and call them out. Oh man, I'm stuck in behaviors and beliefs that no longer serve me, that don't move me forward, that are not enriching my life, that don't bring me joy. I'm stuck in belief and behaviors and patterns that disconnect me from consciousness, that disconnect me from higher power. Becoming aware is always a first step. And then, releasing these limited beliefs, identifying what the challenges are, and recognizing that these negative beliefs, that these detrimental beliefs and patterns and behaviors are holding me back, that they're like keeping me down, and replacing them with empowering ones. So it might look like, what is a limited belief? Oh, that I'm no good, that I'm never going to be anything, that I can't get a job, that I can't get a lover, that I can't get a spouse, that I can't move on, right? And then just take a look at what is the absolute opposite of that, and releasing those negative thoughts, those negative ideas, and replacing them with empowering ones. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to be easy and overnight, and it does take work. But being aware of them in the first place is the first step. And then if this is not what I want, what is it that I do want? And beginning to work with a spiritual living coach, with a practitioner, with a minister, beginning to work with someone who can help you put together a pattern in your life that you can begin to release these old ideas, by replacing them with new ones and empowering ones that are going to lift your esteem. This means that you must, and we must, continuously cultivate an attitude of gratitude and of mindfulness, and fully being present in this moment. Like, in this moment, all my needs are met. But what happens with us is that we engage in this mental merry-go-round and this mentation of just having the same thoughts over and over again, future tripping or dwelling in the past. And when we're future tripping or dwelling in the past, we're never fully present. And we never really get to recognize that in this moment, like right now, all my needs are met. And right now, I can cultivate this awareness of acceptance, that I'm at peace, and I can begin to embrace self-love and treat myself with kindness and compassion and nurture these deep and loving thoughts about myself and the world around me. And these are just some of the steps, developing a spiritual practice that reminds me of the truth of who I am. And one of the spiritual practices that I just want to highlight right now outside of a mindfulness practice is a prayer practice. It's an affirmative prayer practice where we recognize the one power, one presence, one life that has created everything out of itself, that is joy, that is peace, that is love, that is abundance, that is all things possible, infinite possibility, and recognizing that it created everything out of itself. Therefore, my life is its life. Therefore, that which is true of this power and presence is true for me. And even if I just begin to hang out in that part of affirmative prayer, that wow, this infinite intelligence that created me, being all powerful, all knowing, everywhere present, fully realized in itself, created me, that means that is my potentiality, that I also am limitless, that I am abundant, that I am filled with peace, with joy, with positivity, with empowerment, that is the truth about me as well. Hanging out right there, I can begin to navigate my life. And if on a daily basis, even several times a day, I have that practice in place, I can begin to dig myself out of that spiritual bondage and experience spiritual liberation. One of my favorite teachers, Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith, says, spiritual liberation is the freedom to express your highest potential and contribute your unique gifts to the world. Imagine you contributing your unique gifts to the world. What I like to say about spiritual liberation is this, that spiritual liberation is the route to unlocking the greatness within you. Imagine unlocking the greatness within you. It's unlocking the greatness within you and living a life of limitless possibility. I like that idea of living a life of limited possibility. So today, beloveds, we've talked about spiritual liberation compared to spiritual bondage. We've talked about the importance of recognizing the detrimental effects of spiritual bondage while recognizing the limitless potentiality of life when we are on the path of spiritual liberation. And that those practices that we can begin to engage in, that those things lead us to spiritual liberation and a life beyond our wildest dreams. So I encourage you today to embark upon your own journey of spiritual liberation towards spiritual liberation and not allow yourself to stay in spiritual bondage. Let's just take a moment in prayer. How grateful I am for this inspirational word that has now come through me, as me, in me, from the great I am. How grateful I am to simply speak the word and to be a source of encouragement, a beneficial presence. How grateful I am that these words fall upon receptive ears and that action is now being taken towards spiritual liberation. Grateful for the technology and the people and the places and things that come together that this word might be delivered. I give thanks for my life and the life of all, recognizing that there's one power, one presence, one life that has created everything out of itself. Therefore, my life is its life, and its life is the life of all. And that each of us, individually and collectively, are the unique and unrepeatable, magnificent, powerful, beautiful, exquisite way that spirit shows up in human form. For this and so much more, I give thanks, knowing that we now take action towards spiritual liberation, to live our life of freedom, expressing fully I give thanks, releasing this prayer now into the activity of spiritual law, knowing that it is done in the mind of spirit. Therefore, we experience its fulfillment in, through, and as our life and as our experience. For this and so much more, I give thanks. Letting it be so, I simply say, and now it is, and so it is. Thank you so much, beloveds. If you're ready to unlock your spiritual potential and embark upon a transformative journey, connect with us at Vida Spiritual Learning Center, and we will support you on your personal journey. We will support you with your spiritual education. We will provide you the spiritual tools and the loving support to fuel your personal transformation. Reach out via phone, via email. Reach out. We are here to support you on your journey. Be well and have a great week. Bye for now.
Thanks for tuning in to the Vida Spiritual Connection. Please visit our website to submit a confidential prayer request. While there, sign up for our weekly email and receive the latest information for events, classes, and meetups. Remember to subscribe to Vida's YouTube channel, click like, and click the bell to get notifications. You can also find Vida on Facebook and Instagram. Whoever sows generously also reaps generously. Giving is a spiritual practice. As you bless the world, you are blessed. Your financial contribution to Vida Spiritual Learning Center is an investment in your spiritual education and flow. Your contributions support your spiritual growth and this show, so it's a win-win. Use the link on our website, drop a check in the mail, or Zelle your contribution to 562-928-6460 or to vida@vidaslc.org. Thank you for your generous support. Have a wonderful week and see you next time for the Vida Spiritual Connection.